History is fascinating. I know that's hard for a lot of you to believe, but history is truly fascinating. And then when you start understanding what numerology and astrology is, and you could put that second and third layer on top of it, that's like seeing the aura within the aura. And that's what I want to talk about today. In 2022, Ukraine was invaded by Russia. Now, I'm not going to pick sides here. I'm not going to say who's right, who's wrong. But what I will talk about are their numerology and astrology facts. Let's get started. Ukraine, just like Russia, was founded in 1991, the year of the goat. And who was the goat's enemy? It's the ox. And wouldn't you know it, NATO was founded in 1949, the year of the ox. So in this tug of war you see over here, over Ukraine, you got one ox, and you got, which is basically NATO led by America. And then you also have Russia, which is a goat. They're going to war against each other. This is what happens. Enemy signs is real. But in this video, we're going to go deeper than that. Let's start from the very beginning. Vladimir Putin, and we'll go to him because he just had a big interview with Tucker Carlson, but he's born October 7th, 1952. We'll come back to that because that is important for what we're going to talk about this year. But here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about when he was elected. That is going to be the most important part to this puzzle. Acting president, and then he actually became president in March 26, 2000. So Putin, born 1952, the year of the dragon, officially becomes president of Russia in the year of the dragon, 2000. Let's go further. He gets his second re-election in 2004, re-elected, but all of a sudden he steps down in 2008 because of term limits. He comes back to power in 2012. Now it's interesting because this is when people started attacking him and trying to force him out. Now this is why it's interesting, because when forces from outside of Russia try to remove Vladimir Putin by starting riots, by having people out there protest against them, what happened was they went after him in the wrong year. See, 2012 was a dragon year. He won the election. He basically beat the protest very easily because they attacked him in his own year. That's not going to work, folks. And then here's where the problem came in, because he stepped down and then all of a sudden his fourth term, 2018. 2018 is the year of the dog. See, what happened was Putin came to power and the presidential elections were every 4 years. And then he had to step down because a president can't have more than 2 consecutive terms. So he was at to step down from 2008 to 2012. He comes back in 2012. What happens? He decides it's best to move the elections every 6 years from every 4 years. Now, from a strategic standpoint, it sounds like a good idea. Unfortunately for him, he didn't understand this knowledge. 2018 was the year of the dog, his enemy sign. So what happened since Vladimir Putin got reelected for the 4th time in his enemy year? War. We'll get back to him. Now let's look at the other side. Zelensky. This is a 33 life path, a 33-6 who became world famous for standing up against the Russians. But here's what's very important. I want you to look, because I'm going to show you what started this war from a numerology astrology perspective. Watch this. So Mr. Zelensky here is born January 25th, 1978. That is the year of the snake. Even though 77 is a snake year, it didn't switch over January 7th, 1978 from a snake yet. But let's go over here, the most important part, his presidential campaign. When did he become the president of Ukraine? May 20th, 2019. So we have someone who came to power in his enemy year. What do you know? Isn't that exactly what happened with President Putin of Russia? He came to power in his enemy year. He's a dragon. He came to power in 2018, a dog year, for his 4th consecutive term. And then we go to Zelensky, and he is a snake who came to power in 2019, a pig year. 2 leaders in a hot spot who came to power in his enemy year. What happened? War. That's what happened. See, this is a whole different layer to the onion. See, if you understand history, if you understand politics, you're going to get only so far. But if you understand this knowledge, it starts making sense why we have war at this point in this simulation. Stuff like this matters. Let's go deeper. The Russian invasion of Ukraine started in 2022. Now it's in its 3rd year. 2024 is upon us. And unfortunately for NATO, 2024, a dragon year, is going to benefit Vladimir Putin born 1952, the year of the dragon. So I do believe Russia will have the upper hand in 2024. Again, I'm not for one side or the other. I'm talking straight numerology and astrology here. I've showed you why the war started from a numerology astrology perspective. I showed you what led to it from a numerology and astrology perspective. And now I'm telling you how the conclusion is going to go. If this war goes into 2025 and Zelensky is still president, then the snake might have an edge in 2025, or they might put up a better fight. But when it comes down to it, I expect the Russian army under Vladimir Putin, who was born in the dragon year and who came to power in 2000, a dragon year, who got reelected again for the third time in 2012, a dragon year. I expect the Russian military to come up on top in his dragon year 2024. And this is how you look at history from a numerology and astrology perspective. This has been a GG33 production.